Moving house? It's one of those things in life that's this wild mix of excitement for what's next and, let's be real, a whole lot of stress. With all the boxes and the planning, there's this one huge question that so many of us forget to ask. How in the world do you protect your most valuable stuff while it's on the move? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into today. I mean, that feeling of a fresh start, it's awesome. But it also comes with this pretty obvious risk. Just think about it for a second. Everything you own, from your brand new TV to your grandma's old china, is literally out of your hands, packed in a truck, and hitting the road. And that, right there, is where things can get a little dicey. So yeah, you're moving. But what about all those things you absolutely love? The moving process itself is stressful enough without adding that little voice in the back of your head worrying if something's going to happen to your favorite things. I mean, these are the items that really turn a new house into your home, so keeping them safe is a pretty big deal. Look, it doesn't matter how amazing your movers are, the unexpected can and does happen. A sharp turn, a sudden stop, maybe even a little fender bender, and all of a sudden you're looking at a huge financial headache on top of the heartbreak. That's exactly why having the right kind of protection is so important. The good news is, there's a solution. You can think of it like a safety net for all your belongings while they're on their big journey. It's really the key to turning a super stressful move into one that's actually worry-free. And that solution is called transit insurance. So what is transit insurance anyway? To put it simply, it's a special kind of policy that's made specifically to cover your stuff while it's being moved. It kicks in the second your items get picked up, and it keeps them protected all the way until they're safely inside your new home. And how it works is actually really simple. First, you just pick a policy that matches up with the total value of your things. After that, you can just sit back and relax, because you know everything's covered from start to finish. And if, something does go wrong, you just file a claim to get it sorted. That's it. Pretty easy, right? Okay, but the devil is always in the details. To get that real peace of mind, you've got to understand what your policy actually covers. So let's break down what's usually included and maybe even more importantly, what's often left out. So for the most part, you're covered for all the big risks. We're talking about accidental damage, if the truck is in a collision or something gets dropped. It also covers you if your stuff is lost or stolen while it's in transit. Even things like fires, floods, or storms are typically included. And here's a cool one. It can even cover your fragile items as long as they were packed the right way. Now for the fine print, the exclusions. It's really important to know that not everything is covered. So, for example, if you packed a box yourself and did a bad job, well, that's probably on you if something breaks. Perishable stuff like food is a no-go, and so are weird internal electrical problems in your gadgets that weren't caused by the move itself. And of course, it's not going to cover any damage that was already there. And this brings us to a really key decision point. Because just like no two moves are exactly the same, these insurance policies aren't one-size-fits-all either. You've got choices, and understanding those choices is the only way to make sure you get the absolute best protection for your move. Okay, this is a big one. This question trips up so many people. Your moving company will probably mention something they call liability coverage. So is that the same thing as a real, dedicated transit insurance policy? Let's take a closer look, because the answer is a hard no. This table really spells out the differences, and they are huge. Real transit insurance, that's a full-blown policy from an actual insurance company. It's comprehensive and pays out the actual value of your items. The mover's liability, on the other hand, is super limited. It usually only covers damage if it's their direct fault, and get this, it often pays out a tiny, fixed amount per kilogram. The difference in what you'd get back is absolutely massive. Policies can also be tailored to fit your specific move perfectly. Doing a quick local move, a short-term policy is probably what you want. Moving across the country, you're going to need interstate transit insurance. And for those huge moves across borders, yep, there's an international policy for that too. There's even an option for people who move around all the time. So, when you boil it all down, what's the real value we're talking about here? It honestly goes way beyond just money or replacing a broken lamp. It's really an investment in your own peace of mind during what can be a really chaotic time in your life. Because that's the goal, right? You should be excited. You should be focused on unpacking those boxes, deciding where the sofa goes, and finding your new favorite coffee shop. You shouldn't be spending your energy worrying about every single bump in the road or what's going on in the back of that truck. That freedom from worry, that is the real payoff. So what does this peace of mind actually cost?
You might be surprised. It's actually pretty reasonable. The investment usually falls somewhere between just 0.5% to 2% of the total value you declare for your belongings. That's a really small price to pay for a whole lot of security.
And that kind of leaves us with one last thought. All the memories, all the comfort, all the little things that you've packed into those boxes, that's what's going to make your new house feel like a home. In that sense, those things are priceless. So the real question is, isn't their journey worth protecting?